Alright, welcome along to a new video. I'm in my kitchen getting ready to make some dinner and I've got about 20 minutes to kill, so I'm going to record a sort of little video for you. If you've ever been in a situation where you've ended up being gaslighted by someone, you'll know exactly how nasty that feels. So I went and done a little bit of research earlier on to get hold of some, things that people say to gaslight you. Just something to keep an eye out for in conversations, and what to say, what it does to you, and how to avoid that sort of scenario in life. So let's get on to it. Alright, so first up we have "you are too sensitive." The intent of this is to dismantle the victim's emotions and make them feel like their reactions are disproportionate or invalid. How it's used: when the victim expresses hurt or discomfort, the gaslighter uses this to imply the issue lies within the victim's emotional fragility rather than the gaslighter's behaviour. For example, if the victim is upset about a harsh comment, the gaslighter might say, "You're too sensitive, it was just a joke." The impact of this is the victim may suppress their emotions or question whether they're overreacting, reducing their ability to trust their own feelings. The second thing that they may say is, "That never happened." The intent is to deny the events or conversations, causing the victim to doubt their own memory. How it's used: the gaslighter outright rejects the victim's recollection of an event, even when evidence or vivid memories exist. For instance, if the victim brings up a promise the gaslighter made, they may say, "That never happened, and you're making it up." The impact is meant to be that the victim begins to question their memory, leading to confusion and reliance on the gaslighter's version of reality. Number 3 is "you're imagining things." The intent is to make the victim feel doubt in their perceptions or intuition. How it's used: when the victim notices suspicious behaviour, for example secrecy or inconsistencies, the gaslighter dismisses it as fantasy. For example, if the victim suspects infidelity and questions it, the gaslighter might respond, "You're imagining things, I've done nothing wrong." The impact on the victim is the victim may ignore their gut instincts, allowing the gaslighter to continue manipulative behaviours unchecked. Number 4, "you're overreacting." This is used to minimise the victim's valid concerns and portray them as irrational. Used when the victim confronts a gaslighter about harmful actions. For example, if the victim is upset about being ignored, the gaslighter might say, "You're overreacting, it's not a big deal." The impact is the victim feels invalidated and may stop addressing issues, fearing they'll be seen as irrational. Number 5, "I was just joking." The intent is to deflect accountability for hurtful comments or actions by framing them as humour. This is used after making a cruel or belittling remark. The gaslighter claims it was meant playfully. For example, after a degrading comment about the victim's appearance, they may say, "I was just joking, don't take it seriously." The impact is the victim feels foolish for being upset and may hesitate to call out future harmful behaviour. Number 6 is "you're crazy." The intent is to directly attack the victim's mental stability, making them question their own sanity. It's used to discredit the victim's perspective entirely. For example, the victim points out a pattern of lies, the gaslighter might say, "You're crazy, nobody else thinks that." The impact this has is the victim may internalise this label, leading to self-doubt and reluctance to challenge the gaslighter. Number 7 is "everyone agrees with me." The intent is to isolate the victim by suggesting others share the gaslighter's perspective, making the victim feel alone. It's used when the victim challenges the gaslighter. They may claim, "Everyone agrees with me that you're being unreasonable." This could be used in arguments about behaviour or decisions. The impact of this is the victim feels outnumbered and may conform to social isolation. Number 8 is "you're the problem here." The intent is to shift the blame onto the victim, deflecting responsibility for the gaslighter's actions. It's used when confronted about harmful behaviour. The gaslighter turns the tables. For example, the victim addresses verbal abuse. The gaslighter might say, "You're the problem here, you always start fights." The impact of this is the victim feels guilty and may focus on fixing themselves rather than addressing the gaslighter's own behaviour. Number 9 is you don't remember things correctly. The intent is to undermine the victim's confidence in their memory and perception of events. It's used similar to "that never happened." This phrase is used to rewrite history. For example, the victim recalls a specific argument. The gaslighter might say, "You don't remember things correctly, and that's not what I said." The impact is the victim questions their recollection, becoming more dependent on the gaslighter's narrative. Number 10, I'm only saying this because I care about you. The intent is to disguise manipulation as concern, making the victim feel indebted or guilty. It's used to justify criticism or control. For example, a gaslighter might say, "I'm only saying you're bad with money because I care about you," while controlling the victim's finances. The impact this has is the victim may accept harmful behaviour as help, lowering their defences. 11. You're making a big deal out of nothing. The intent is to trivialise the victim's concerns, making them seem unreasonable. It's used when the victim raises an issue like being disrespected. The gaslighter may say, "You're making a big deal out of nothing, it's not that serious." The impact of this is the victim may stop voicing concerns, fearing they're exaggerating things. Number 12, you're so dramatic. The intent of this is to portray the victim as overly emotional or theatrical concerning their own valid feelings. It's used similar to "you're too sensitive." This is used to invalidate your emotions. For example, if the victim cries after an argument, the gaslighter might say, "You're so dramatic, it's not worth crying over." The impact of this is the victim suppresses emotions to avoid being labelled as dramatic. 13. I never said that. The intent is to deny previous statements, causing the victim to doubt their own memory. It's used when the victim references something the gaslighter said. They deny it outright. For example, if the victim reminds them of a promise, they may say, "I never said that, you're confused." The impact of this is the victim questions their memory and may avoid holding the gaslighter accountable for anything. 14. You're taking it the wrong way. The intent is to shift the blame to the victim's interpretation rather than the gaslighter's actions. It's used to deflect criticism or hurtful behaviour. For example, if the victim is offended by a sarcastic comment, the gaslighter might say, "You're taking it the wrong way, I didn't mean it like that." The impact of this is the victim doubts their interpretation and may accept the gaslighter's explanation. 15 is an interchangeable one. You always/never do this. The intent is to exaggerate the victim's flaws, making them feel inherently defective. How it's used: the gaslighter uses absolutes to generalise the victim's behaviour. For example, "You always mess things up," or "You never listen to me," even if the behaviour isn't consistent. The impact of this is the victim feels inadequate and may try harder to please the gaslighter. Number 16, one I've heard quite a bit over the years: "If you loved me, you wouldn't question me." The intent is to manipulate the victim's emotions by tying their loyalty or love to compliance. It's used to guilt the victim into silence. For example, if the victim questions suspicious behaviour, the gaslighter might say, "If you loved me, you wouldn't question me." The impact of this is the victim may prioritise the gaslighter's feelings over their own concerns, suppressing their doubts. Number 17, you're just paranoid. The intent of this is to dismiss valid suspicions as irrational fear or paranoia. It's used when the victim notices red flags like dishonesty. The gaslighter might say, "You're just paranoid, there's nothing going on." The impact of this is the victim doubts their instincts, allowing the gaslighter to continue manipulative behaviour. Number 18, no one else would put up with you. The intent is to lower the victim's self-esteem and make them feel dependent on the gaslighter. It's used to isolate the victim emotionally. For example, in a relationship, the gaslighter might say, "No one else would put up with you, you're lucky I'm here." The impact of this is the victim feels unworthy and may stay in a toxic situation out of fear of being alone. Number 19, how to recognise and respond to gaslighting. Trust your instincts first of all. If something feels off, it's worth exploring even if you're told you're overreacting. Keep records, document conversations or events. For example, journaling or screenshots on your phone to confirm your memory. You can seek outside perspectives. Talk to trusted friends or therapist to validate your experiences. Make sure to set boundaries, calmly assert your reality, and refuse to engage in arguments about your perceptions. Educate yourself. Understanding gaslighting techniques like these phrases, this will help you recognize and resist them. And finally, for number 20, I've got a couple of little things here, just like to kind of keep us like mental notes in the back of your head. These phrases are often used in personal relationships, workplaces, or social settings to exert control over people. Gaslighting is always most effective when it's gradual. This makes it harder to detect. Repeated exposure to these phrases can erode your self-confidence over time. So if you're experiencing any gaslighting, professional support, for example therapy, can rebuild your trust and your own perceptions. Okay, as per usual, hope this was helpful to you guys out there. You're going to come across this all the time. I could go into major details about past relationships around through stuff like this here. And I'm not going to go into too many details about it. If you've seen my last short, the subject I was talking about there, this is going to set her off something shocking. But this isn't even about my last relationship. This was about my first major serious relationship as well. Married, divorced now for more years than I care to remember. But you know, a lot of stuff went on where these phrases were at a stage pretty commonplace. So I've been through it not just recently, but well into the past, like 25 plus years ago, and still falling for it. It's very easy for yourself to be the victim of someone that's going to gaslight you, and not even in romantic relationships. Like, I'm talking spirituality as well here. I was a member of a church on the north coast for a long time. This is going back at least 10 years at this point, and the whole love bombing thing was huge in that setting, and through that there was a hell of a lot of gaslighting. Like I was pulled in majorly by these people, and you know, this is something that personally I'm going to struggle with this, you know, probably for the rest of my days, you know, because like it's not that I've got low self-esteem, it's just that I tend to, if I like people, I tend to let everything they say like get under my skin. That's just something that I'm not good at. So again, hopefully this was helpful to you guys, and let me know in the comments if it was. So until the next video, stay safe, and I will talk to you all then.